Hey, Vince here. Welcome back to my channel where I make videos about design, student life, and business. If there's one skill that really helps me in my design works, it's sketching. For me, it's the ability to convey ideas that I couldn't with words, almost so much that I feel like I draw better than I speak. So in this video, I'll be showing you how I make my own sketches for product design. Sketching is very useful for a variety of things, like getting ideas out of your head and onto a permanent place so that it's not forgotten, or for developing ideas and constructing iterations. And like I said earlier, it's great for conveying ideas that words can't. So with that in mind, this is my process for how I sketch and render products. This isn't a set in stone thing, so I'm always looking at other people's methods and figuring out ways to improve my own. But this is what I've learned so far. If the shape I'm going for is regular enough to be put in a box or a series of boxes, that's what I start out with. This helps me structure my drawing and get the proportions right. I then begin figuring out the edges of the product with light strokes in pencil. I don't really mind where my lines go, it's just about discovering shapes and feeling out what feels right. There's no right or wrong, just discovery and practice. As I begin to like what I'm seeing, I start to darken my lines and work on a more concrete shape of the product or object. I also start working on boxing out details or areas of interest. As you can see, I'm really loose with it, so I let my arm do the work. Lines should be quick and loose, so if you're spending more than 10 seconds on one line, you've got to move on. Another thing is that if you notice you're being too stiff, you'll probably also notice that you're really up close to the page, so move back and fix your posture. Unless I'm working on the really final details, I try to keep a straight posture and keep the whole page in my field of view. Once I'm happy with my sketch and how it's come out, I then move on to using my pens. I start out with a 0.1 fine liner to get all the pen marks on the page so that I can get a good guide for when I start laying down the thicker pen lines. These next few steps are what I think is key to the difference between architectural sketching, normal artistic sketching, and product design sketching. I then move on to my 0.8 pen and go over the outline. This is what really makes the product pop out of the page. Then, if I need to, I go over lines of secondary importance with my 0.5 or 0.3 pen. This is what gives the product depth and helps the viewer better understand how the product is built. Finally, this is the step I feel like a lot of people skip: markering or shading. If I'm sketching things out on a layout pad, I'll just use a pencil and start giving the product depth using shading. However, if I'm looking for a more refined result and I'm using thicker paper, then I'll take out my markers and use them instead. Now, I haven't mastered the whole markering thing yet. I'm good, but not fully comfortable with them, which is why I'm showing you my shading techniques here. What I'm trying to do is really bring the product to life by giving the viewer more context. How does the light bounce on the product? What material is it made out of? Where is it? What type of light and therefore environment is it being lit by? I'm always trying to work on my lighting and shading techniques because it's what really sells a sketch in my opinion. The key here is to not be afraid of pushing the pencil really hard to get those really dark values, but also don't be afraid of pure white. If you're familiar with Photoshop, it's almost like you have to intentionally push your contrast value up because in my case, I naturally make really flat looking drawings. Finally, if I'm markering, this is where I'll take out my white pencil and white pen and add highlights. If I'm shading, I'll use my eraser to erase out highlights and add specks. Also, something I've learned recently since I got into my new university is to use blocks of color to make drawings pop and fill space where I can't be bothered to sketch. I tried this on a page of sketches I did for a recent project and added some lighting with a white pencil, and I think it came out pretty alright. The main thing about sketching is that at the end of the day, yes, it can look really pretty and nice, but if you go into it thinking, alright, I'm just going to throw this away later anyways, you free yourself up so much and stop thinking about how it looks and start figuring out how the product feels and operates. Because that's really what sketching is for. Not for making a pretty page, but for getting your ideas out into the world and understanding how things operate together. There's also different types of product sketching that you can do, like plain wireframe sketching or full-on rendering, like what I've done with this hairdryer. But the style I just covered is what's most commonly thought of when thinking of product design sketching. I'll put a link in the description for other channels and resources that have really helped me with my method, so check them out if you'd like to learn more. Let me know in the comments which tip helped you out the most. Thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Oh, and if you're watching this in December 2020, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year!